to this important training activity. And we are grateful that Mark Roseman, agricultural attaché to USDA FSA Dhaka to Bangladesh, has kindly consented and is also with us today. And also we are happy that Rebecca Robinson, Feed the Future Program Team Leader and Deputy Office Director USAID is available with us. And our Director General of the Department of Agricultural Extension, Muhammad Asdullah, he is available with us. Welcome to all of you. And Dr. Ravi Khetrapal, the Executive Secretary of APARI and the project leader for this project under which the training is going on, is available with us. And we have you have already met Shashireka, the moderator. And in addition to that, we have our Director Plant Quarantine Wing, Muhammad Anwar Hussain, who will be also talking about the need for the capacity and establishment of PRA unit. And in addition to that, we have the two most important and key persons imparting the training. One is USDA consultant, Mr. Mr. Lloyd G, and also Dr. Michael Hennessy. These two are the key people imparting the training. Both of them are with us. And in addition, we have got the training coordinator from the DAE, Rita Day, and the most important key people for the training session is the participants. The participants at different levels, officials from the Department of Agricultural Extension, and some from outside the Department of Agricultural Extension, like Seed Association, and we have both Plant Quarantine Wing and Plant Protection Wing, and also from the DG's office, and several others. Almost 42 have registered for this training, and we hope all of them will be able to take the benefit of this training. And I'm extremely happy to share with you that there is a huge demand for this particular training. A lot of people from the trading partners also approached to get included based on the further need and further response. The project may consider some other measures to continue this training or advanced training for some of them who will be selected. So I am once again thankful to all the authorities, the participants, and the organizers who are all present here. Welcome to all of you. This is the brief. In brief, there will be one introductory session, and another is the technical session. Today we will have two sessions, and in the introductory session, we have all formalities like the self-introduction will be there. I request all the participants. There are very important people who are not regularly part of this, like Mary Parish and many others, Anirudh Roy, many others are there. Dignitaries from the USAID and USDA are available here. So I request you, all of you, to introduce and then just tell how you are linked to this project or to this thing. But participants, I request you that in addition to your name and designation, please tell how this training will be helpful very briefly, so that we have allocated around 40 minutes for this. I think we'll be able to cover. I understand from Shashi that about 33 people already answered the pre-test questionnaire, and the attendance today now is more than 45. So I think most of them have already in the training. So you introduce yourself. Then we have our Director General, Department of Agricultural Extension, Ministry of Agriculture, Bangladesh, will be giving the welcome remarks, followed by the USAID Deputy Office Director, Rebecca Robinson. And then we'll have the Agricultural Attaché, Mark Roseman, will be giving a very brief inaugural address. And we are very grateful to all the officials for giving the time and also importance this kind of training to the Bangladesh for continued efforts. Then in the technical session, I will very briefly introduce you the process of training. There are different steps and some new things we have tried to introduce here. All that process I will explain you very briefly. And then after that, why this PRA capacity and establishment of PRA unit is important. That Mohammed Anwar Hussain, the National Plant Quarantine, will present. And the status of PRA in Bangladesh. This actually is a very good, interesting presentation that over the last 15, 20 years, what happened on PRA in Bangladesh, where we are, what are our deficiencies and learning lessons. Dr. Hassanullah will be presenting that. And one of the most important new things in this training is that we have embedded the functional capacity building in addition to the technical capacity on the PRA, which will be introduced by Shashireka. And the pre-test conducted both for technical training as well as for the functional capacity. Answers will be analyzed by our consultants, Dr. Michael, Dr. Lloyd, and Shashi also will be sharing on the functional capacity things. And the program will end with the vote of thanks from the training coordinator of the project, Rita Day, from the plant quarantine. Thank you very much. This is just briefly to introduce to today's program.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Varaprasad, for setting the stage and taking the participants through what we will be doing for today, as well as for the next few days for training. So with this, may I now request Nui to share the screen for Zoom housekeeping. So before we go into the participants introduction, I would just brief you about the Zoom housekeeping. So we request all the participants to keep muted only when you get your turn to introduce yourself. Please unmute yourself and you can speak up. You can use the raise hand facility that is available below the Zoom icons to post any questions. You can also post your questions in the chat box. Kindly introduce yourself by providing your name and institution and organization details in the chat box. For your kind information, this meeting is being recorded for our internal purpose and for recording. And we also request all the participants to kindly install your Zoom and update it with the version which is 5.3 or above. We will be having so many group discussion all along this training. So we request you to upgrade it above the version 5.3. We have sent you instructions on how to update it in the mail that we have sent to you. So only then you will be able to select the respective groups for the group discussion. All the participants have been divided into 4 groups, and you might have also received the groups. So for each group, we will be having a moderator. With this, I would like to first introduce you to our technical team, and then we'll move on to the participants' introduction. So I now request Dr. Ravi to briefly introduce himself. Nui, can you please share the presentation with the participants' introduction slide? Dr. Ravi, please go ahead with the introduction. Thank you.
Thank you, Sasi. Good morning, good evening, everyone. I'm Ravi Khetrapal. I work for Asia Pacific Association of Agriculture Research Institutions. And we are working on a lot of global projects with FAO, with WTO, and this is one like with USDA and with ACI and all, in the field of risk mitigation, biotechnology and bioresources, policy and advocacy, and also in the field of inclusive development as a proper value chain. So with this, I would like to pass on back to Sasi.
Thank you. So Dr. Ravi. So for this 7 days of training, we have 2 great trainers from the USA. So I would like to welcome Lloyd and Michael Hennessy, who are joining us to train you on PRA. Lloyd, please introduce yourself. Kindly unmute, Lloyd. You're on mute.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone in Bangladesh. My name is Lloyd Garcia, and a little brief background. I'm currently on a contract with FAS, USDA FAS, to assist them in various projects overseas. is in Pakistan principally right now. My background is I'm an entomologist. I worked for many years with the North Carolina Department of Agriculture, and more recently with the U.S. Department of Agriculture. In my role with USDA, I principally helped countries set up their phytosanitary survey, communication, identification infrastructure in countries such as Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Colombia. So my experience is mostly applied in the process of preparing pest risk assessments. Mike was more hands-on and actual proofing of the mitigation strategies and pest surveys associated with PRAs. So what I would really like to emphasize is how difficult this set of trainings is going to be for everyone. I had a bit of a hard time getting my head around just how to cover the material that has been prepared for us to present to you. So it's extremely important that you print out the case study, because we will do a learn as you go kind of a process. We will try to prepare a fictional pest risk assessment. So you need to have this document before you so that you can follow along carefully. And I would ask you to be critical of everything that we say and everything that we present, because some of the things were not entirely clear to Mike and me as we read through the case study and the activities that are involved. So keep in mind, please, that this will be difficult because it's not hands-on. We are not present with you in the same room. So be patient and also be tough. Ask us hard questions and make sure that you understand the material as we move through. So I'll turn it over to Mike, I think. Thank you very much.
Hello, this is Michael Hennessy. I'm in North Carolina right now. I am a new technical consultant for PRA. I'm an entomologist. I've had a 30-year career, which I've recently retired from, in the US government as a federal entomologist. Early in my career, I spent 7 years as a research entomologist with the USDA Agriculture Research Service, in which I worked on quarantine treatments for pests of trade concern, developing quarantine treatments. That would be the risk mediation part. After that, I worked for the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency in the Office of Pesticide Programs, registering, re-registering pesticides. And most recently, I spent a number of years with U.S. Department of Agriculture, Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service, Plant Protection and Quarantine, working in the risk analysis department. And during that period, I was actively involved in writing pest risk analyses for trade, for import trade for the United States, and for many other countries who wanted to trade with the United States. Right after that, I worked in the research part section of plant protection and quarantine, again, developing risk mitigations for commodities being imported into the United States. So, as Lloyd mentioned, this training will be taking days 2 through 7. We will be covering many different aspects of pest risk analysis. We'll cover pest risk assessment. We'll cover risk communication. We'll cover risk management. And it's it's very important that you know that the participants guide that you are all provided with has most of the materials that you would need to consult with during this training. Most notably, there is a case study that we will be working hands-on with that will be used for the practice of writing and analyzing various parts that we will need for a complete pest risk analysis using a fictional scenario. Also in the participant's guide, there are copies of ISPM standards of the IPPC, 4 very important ones. ISPM 2 on initiation, ISPM 5, the glossary, which you should consult readily all the time, glossary of phytosanitary terms. And importantly also ISPM 11, which is pest risk analysis detailed out as a standard with many useful terms and the procedure of how to create pest risk analysis. So we will be using this case study, and I urge you all to glance at that, look that over for tomorrow, because tomorrow we will be skimming through the entire case study, because it will lead to 2 hands-on activities that we will be doing tomorrow. One on scoping a pest risk analysis, and one on creating pest lists. So with that, I welcome you. This is my first time doing a Zoom training on this type of material. I'm sure we'll encounter some challenges as we go forward, especially in group activities. We'll be working in group activities with moderators. I thank Sassy for coordinating that activity with the Zoom equipment. And of course, any questions that any of the participants have, please use the chat box, or we will also have, after each activity, we will also have a general session where we'll go over questions and answers that have come up during the activity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mike and Lloyd. I'm sure participants will be looking forward to learn from you a lot, also from your experience. So with this, I would like to now invite our partners, Jesse, to say a few words of the training. Before we move on to the participants, we would now have our partners get introduced.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. This is Jessie Mujitawa Fernandez from FAS, USDA in Washington, D.C. I'm really delighted to see all of the participation this evening or this morning as well. Thank you to the APARI team, Dr. Lloyd Garcia and Dr. Michael Hennessy for facilitating today's session that we call Day 0, but also for the next 7 days as well. I'm really looking forward to relearning a lot of things that have been mentioned that will be covered. I've worked with the APARI team for the past 2 years now, and also specifically with Dr. Ravi, where he facilitated the phytosanitary capacity evaluation in 2016 through 2018. And some of the strengths and opportunities and weaknesses that came from that is recommendations. And I think that the PRA training is one of those recommendations in order for us to continue collaborating with the Department of Ag Extension, Plant Quarantine Wing, Plant Protection Wing, in order to collaboratively strengthen the institutional capacity of all of those respective institutions. So thank you so much for organizing this 7 to 8 day training to APARI team. We know that it has been quite the coordination and organization to put this really engaged training. And I also thank you to USAID and the DAE and the Ministry of Commerce, the WTO cell, for participating as well. We much appreciate it. Thank you so much, Sasi.
Thank you, Jessie. May I now invite Rebecca to introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, good morning. My name is Rebecca Robinson, and I'm with USDA Bangladesh representing the Feed the Future team. I wanted to say a few notes about the importance of this activity. As you know, Bangladesh is a densely populated country, and there's a lot of burdens that are put in place due to economic, social, and environmental strain of the country. And so the agriculture sector is very key. And we've had a long-standing partnership with the government of Bangladesh and our partners. And so just want to say a few things about the portfolio and the importance of this workshop. As you know, the operational and implementation level of USAID's current agriculture portfolio covers rice on biotechnology and rice breeding. It also discusses higher education for researchers and teachers. We also strengthen capacity of the Bangladesh Food Safety Authority, support formation of an independent national plant protection organization, supporting the National Board of Revenue and complying with World Trade Organization trade facilitation agreement provisions, and especially strengthening the Customs Department, which is key. Also building rural market and collection centers in rural areas with the local governments and engineering department. I just want to say, our main focuses of our USAID program deal with productivity, diversification, and market access through a supply chain following a market systems approach. We also are really supportive of women's economic empowerment and also improving the business enabling environment in Bangladesh. So just want to basically say that I'm happy to see this partnership with all of the technical teams, USDA and PRA, as hosting this 7-day pest risk analysis training, which is really important to our overall portfolio. We want to say that we also strongly believe in an agriculture-led economy through building and strengthening capacities, along with the government of Bangladesh and with supporting agriculture policy efforts. We also want to endorse the work to improve evidence-based policymaking and functioning sanitary and phytosanitary systems, and strengthen regional and bilateral harmonization. So we want to say overall that we commend USDA's role in building these partnerships through this platform, and we look forward to strengthening our partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Commerce, and in particular to increase Bangladesh's regulatory and technical institutional capacity and enable an environment to increase all of the rules-based trade. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Now, may I request Mark Rossman to provide your introduction?
Yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you well. Please go ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, thank you to all. Thank you to Mr. Varaprasad. Thank you, Rebecca, for your comments as well. And greetings from the U.S. Embassy in New Delhi, India. My name is Mark Roseman. I'm the Agricultural Attaché, currently covering our U.S. Embassy in Dhaka as well. So a warm thank you to all attendees, to all the coordinators of the Asia Pacific Association of Agricultural Research Institutions, or APARI. Welcome to all of our partners, be it with USAID, US land grant institutions like NC State, the Plant Quarantine Wing and Plant Protection Wing of Department of Agricultural Extension. So since 2012, the US government, both through USDA and USAID, have collaborated with DAE, Plant Quarantine Wing, and the Plant Protection Wing to build institutional capacity for pest detection and surveillance through trainings, tactical assistance, including the phytosanitary capacity evaluation of the plant quarantine system. So as a bit of background, in 2018, the findings of the International Plant Protection Convention developed the phytosanitary capacity evaluation, or PCE, which were presented at DAE, outlining the strengths and recommendations for improving Bangladesh health system. So the PCE recommendations underscore, the importance of national phytosanitary phytosanitary regulatory system that applies a coordinated and science-based approach for pest risk analysis and management. So through this program, the U.S. government is continuing to is proud to be working with DAE to build institutional capacity of its national system. We have supported in the past on dialogues for strengthening the national plant health system, capacity building recommendations, and technical assistance. So as part of this program, the USDA has endorsed the findings of the PCE, which resulted in this improving phytosanitary trade compliance in Bangladesh projects that began in January of 2021. And this is one of the pest risk analysis trainings programs that we have today. So, for me personally, this improving pest risk analysis training is critical. And as an agronomist, as a background in farming, growing up on a farm in the United States, pest risk analysis is an area of particular interest to me. Pest risk analysis, risk management, risk communication are all extremely important concepts that all farmers, be they from the United States or Bangladesh or anywhere in the world, they use it daily, whether they realize it or not. So pest risk analysis is certainly part of the larger risk management concept to identify areas of uncertainty and certainty and make an informed science-based decision from the farmer to the national level. In the United States and Bangladesh, throughout the world, this concept is critical for decisions that are part of an integrated pest management scheme for science and biological-based solutions for addressing pest risk, sustainably increasing food production, and reducing food insecurity. So additionally, these systems support phytosanitary decision-making affecting trade, both in imports and exports, with increased PRA capacity through Department of Ag Extension and the government of Bangladesh, trade issues linked to non-compliance with concerns like pesticide MRLs, or identifying and promoting integrated pest management solutions for overcoming trade issues can be resolved that much quicker and that much more efficient, all while supporting healthy agricultural production systems. And this is especially critical in this time of COVID for Bangladesh to continue to increase its export competitiveness in the regional and global marketplace using science-based standards and best practices, be it through the IPPC and the Codex Alimentarius. So we at USDA strongly believe in agricultural-led economies through building and strengthening capacities alongside the government of Bangladesh, supporting agricultural policy efforts there and abroad. And we endorse all efforts to improve evidence-based policymaking and well-functioning sanitary and phytosanitary systems, strengthening regional and bilateral harmonization, and supporting the development of pest control strategies that are the merging of sustainable pest control methods and economically viable farming practices. So in summary, we look forward to continuing this partnership with DAE, Ministry of Agriculture, USAID, and all of you on this call today to increase and improve Bangladesh's regulatory and technical institutional capacity and development of pest risk analysis capacity. So I want to thank you for your time and best of luck on this training.
Thank you so much, Mark, for providing your wonderful welcome remarks. I would also like to thank again all our partners, Rebecca, Jesse, and Mark, for always being there and ensuring the training goes well. So with this, we will now move on to participant introduction. So we have projected a slide on what we are expecting from the participants when they introduce yourself. So when I'll be calling out each participant's name. So when I call your name, kindly unmute yourself and you can tell your name and your designation and what you expect out of this training. So first we will be starting with Afroga.
Sorry for interruption.
Yes,
Can you call Dr. Khalilur Rahman, WTSL, also for his initial remarks?
So we don't have him,
He's
Dr.
there.
Varap.
Yeah, Mr. Muhammad Khalilur Rahman, Director WTSL.
Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon and good morning to you all. This is Muhammad Khalilur Rahman, Deputy Secretary of the Government of Bangladesh. And I am working as Director WTO Cell. And basically, I look after the SPS matters, and I am the inquiry point here in Bangladesh. Thank you for arranging this training. Our officials, those who are directly involved in sanitary and phytosanitary matters like plant quarantine wing, DAE, or some NBR officials are also there. We would be able to earn knowledge about this matter in depth, and this training would help us to go on with SPS activities and to notify and so on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, he's there. Dr. Asdullah is there. Please go ahead, Sushi.
Yeah, Dr. Mohammed Asadullah, are you with us?
The Director General of DAE.
Yeah, I don't see him yet. Dr. Asanullah, can you please let us know?
Yes, we're taking a few more minutes to
Yeah.
come in. He will be taking few more minutes to come in the meeting.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Asanullah. So in the meantime, participants, I would also like you to introduce you to our moderators for 7 days of training. So these moderators will be with you all through the 7 days, and we will be having group discussions. We have 10 participants in each group, and you can share your ideas, and the moderators will help you take through the questions, and whatever questions or clarifications you have during the group discussion, you will be reaching out to these moderators. So may I now request Dr. Varaprasad, Dr. Asanullah, Dr. Rishi, Dr. Nora, and Dr. Ramesh Babu to turn on your video. So we have 5 moderators, and they will be assisting you all throughout this 7 days of training.
Dr. Ramesh Babu as well.
Yeah. Good morning and good evening to one and all. I am Dr. Ramesh Babu. Actually, I contributed the science of entomology towards pesticide residues, biopesticides, and integrated pest management, and also in post-harvest entomology. Later, I worked even as extension entomologist, and then in the State Agriculture University, one of the State Agriculture Universities of India, I worked in the area of entomology and retired as Dean of Agriculture, and also I worked as Dean Postgraduate Studies. So with the experience gained in extension, research and teaching, particularly in entomology and pest risk analysis and also SPS measures, been given a chance to contribute with the Bangladesh participants. Very glad to meet you all. And thank you very much, and looking forward for good interaction with the participants. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ramesh Babu. Dr. Rishi, please go ahead.
Thank you, Sasi. This is Rishi Tyagi. I'm looking after a program on Asia Pacific Consortium on Agriculture, Biotechnology, and Bioresources in APARI. And I'm not the expert in PRA, but I have the basic knowledge of the plant quarantine and to a certain extent what is PRA. So I understand the basics of that, but not the expert. While interacting with the participants, maybe I'll enrich my knowledge further about this particular aspects. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rishi. Dr. Varaprasad?
Yeah, thank you. I met you, all of you in the beginning by welcoming. I am Dr. Varaprasad, currently the project manager for this project under which training is going on, improving phytosanitary trade compliance in Bangladesh. And I worked earlier as a head of a plant quarantine wing in Hyderabad for South India for about 25 years. And later I worked as a director of Indian Institute of Seed Research, and currently working this project. I hope I will be one of the moderators with one of the groups, and we will try to assist you in making your learning useful to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Varaprasad. Dr. Asanullah, over to you.
Welcome to everybody. Good afternoon and good morning to everybody again. I am Mohammad Asanullah. I Basically, he was working for horticulture for about 16 years, and then for plant quarantine about 11 years. Now I am working as a coordinator APARI in Bangladesh. I retired from government service in 2020 February. Right now, as a coordinator, I have to coordinate all stakeholders in Bangladesh, with participants and other agencies in Bangladesh. So thank you very much. I will also a moderator of the one group, and we will be seeing you again soon.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Asanullah. So we will now move on with our participant introduction. So first, I'll be calling up on the order that I see in the screen based on the alphabetical order. So first, we will be starting with Afroga Islam Mitu. Can you please unmute yourself and introduce? We have Habib Chaudhry. Maybe you can go ahead first.
Yes.
Dr. Habib. Yeah, please go ahead. You are on mute.
Yes, unmute.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I am Habib Rahman Chaudhary. My designation is Deputy Director Agriculture Extension, Surveillance and Forecasting, Plant Protection Wing, Department of Agriculture Extension, Bangladesh. I want to know about how to conduct a PRA and how it will be regulated in the field. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Habib Chaudhry. So may I now request Arif Mojaki. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your names wrong, please.
Arif Mojaki, can you hear me, please?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you, Sachi. I am Arif Muhammad Mojaki, Additional Deputy Director and Personal Secretary to Director General, Department of Agriculture Extension. Actually, I hope I will have some knowledge on basic knowledge on PRA to help some farmers and some exporters to maintain the rules and regulations of quarantine. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Arif. So we have Mohammad Asadullah sir with us. So we would like to hear from DG before we go on to the participants. We welcome you for the inaugural session, sir. Please go ahead. You are on mute.
Assalamu alaikum.
Mohammad Asadullah sir, DG, please go ahead. You are on mute.
Can you hear me?
Good morning and good evening. Also, Assalamu alaikum. I am MD Asadullah, Director General, Department of Agricultural Extension, Ministry of Agriculture. Welcome everybody. I think it is a good job for our officers, and I hope this training helpful for them, and future it will be helpful of our officers and also for DA. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mohammad Asadullah, Director General. So now we were having the introduction of the participants. With your permission, we will also move ahead with the participants introduction. We have Afroga Islam Mitu. Please go ahead.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. I am Afroga Islam Mitu, Additional Deputy Director, Surveillance and Forecasting from DAE. Welcome everyone in this session. I am very glad for participating in this training session. I hope we will be learn more from pest risk analysis and pest risk expression from this training. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Mitu. We will now move on to Ananta Sarkar, ADD. Dr. Ananta Sarkar, are you with us? We'll now move on to Aniruddha Roy, Dr. Aniruddha Roy. Okay, we have Ananta Sarkar with us. Sorry. When I just call upon participants, kindly unmute in few seconds so we know you are there. Dr. Ananta Sarkar, please go ahead.
Good afternoon. This is Ananta Sarkar, Additional Deputy Director from Central Packing House. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ananta Sarkar. Now we have Dr. Aniruddha Roy. Can you please unmute and introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you. This is Aniruddha Roy, Private Secretary Advisor at USAID Bangladesh. I'm not a participant, but of course attending the inaugural session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. So we now have Anjan Chandra Mandal. Can you please unmute yourself and introduce?
Thank you. Good afternoon. This is Anjan Chandra Mandal, Additional Deputy Director, Import, working in plant quarantine wing under Ministry of Agriculture. The responsibilities of this wing, that means plant quarantine wing, to regulate the import of plant and plant product, beneficial organisms and packing materials for preventing the introduction of quarantine pests into Bangladesh from other countries. And also to regulate the export of plant and plant products, pest, beneficial organisms and packing materials according to the phytosanitary requirements of the importing country in consistence with international agreement. So this training on PRA will be helpful for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anjan. I now request Asma Naznin to please introduce yourself. Do we have Asma Naznin? Yeah, please.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening, everybody. This is Asma Naznin, a Pest Control Officer in Plant Protection Wing from Department of Agricultural Extension. And actually, this is a new topic for me, PRA. So I expect from this training that this training will help me to know more about PRA. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Asma. So we now have Dr. Babla Chaudhary with us. Dr. Babla Chaudhary, can you please unmute yourself and introduce?
Thank you and welcome everybody from my research firm. I am Abu Jafar MD Khurshid Alam Chaudhary Babla. Basically, I am a plant breeder. I am working on keeping in mind the future climate change and food security for the variety development for stress tolerant, as well as I want to open a new avenue for Bangladesh to export seed. So I started variety development for some other countries and seed multiplication and then export the seed. So as it is related with PRA very directly, so I like to know all the systems and the regulations during from sowing to export the seed through this training program. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Doctor. We now have Dr. Khabiruddin Ahmed.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. This is Khabiruddin Ahmed, Director, Agriculture Information Center, Bangladesh Agriculture Research Council. I hope I will learn from this training the pest issues or information which may contribute to make a decision in pest management policies in my profession. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kabi. We now request Dr. Kafiluddin to give his introduction.
Hello. Hello, good afternoon and good morning, everybody. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, please go ahead.
This is Dr. Muhammad Kafiluddin, senior scientist. I am basically an entomologist. I am working in Bangladesh Agriculture Research Institute, Joydepur, Gazipur. From this section, from this training, I hope that in 7 days I learned a lot of things. Thanks to APARI and thanks to USAID, thanks to everybody.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kafir. I now request Dr. Mamoon to introduce yourself. Can you please unmute and introduce yourself, Dr. Mamoon? I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing it wrong. Okay, so while we wait for Dr. Mamoon, may I have Dr. Minul Islam?
Thank you, Shashi. Good afternoon and good morning. This is Dr. Mainul Islam. I'm senior scientist, Plant Pathology Division and Plant Disease Diagnostic Laboratory, Bangladesh Agriculture Research Institute, Jaidipur, Gazipur. Actually, I would like to enrich my knowledge on PRA process and to know in depth the components of different pest risk assessment, pest management, and other subject related to PRA. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mainul, and sorry for pronouncing it wrong. So now I now request Dr. Munira Shirajum Monira. Please.
Thank you, Shoshi. Have a good day. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. I am Dr. Shirajum Monira, working as a principal seed technologist and research coordinator at Supreme Seed Company Limited. Basically, I am plant pathologist as well as seed technologist. Thank you for arranging this type of training program. I hope this system is very useful, all of us, including private sector. And I would like to enrich my PRA for quarantine pest and framework for pest risk analysis. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Doctor. So may I now request Dr. Razaul Karim to introduce yourself? So, Dr. Razaul Karim, are you with us?
Director Export.
Okay, so now maybe we'll move on to other next participants and we'll get back to you.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, please go ahead.
Plant quarantine wing, PRE. I think over the course of 7 days training on PRA, we will able to learn the ins and outs of PRA, which we hope will help us in our professional life. Greetings and thanks to the organizers. And thanks to all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. So may I now invite our next participant, Dr. Aminuzaman.
So thank you, Shashi, for inviting me. Very good afternoon and very good morning to everyone. I'm Professor Dr. F.M. Aminuzaman. I'm a plant pathologist from the Department of Plant Pathology, Sher-e-Bangla Agricultural University, Dhaka, Bangladesh. I'm very happy to participate in this training workshop. And I think this training workshop will be very helpful for not only for me, for my student, for my farmer also for our government. I'm very interested to know the best risk assessment, risk management, as well as risk communication. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Shashi.
Thank you so much, Doctor. So may I now invite Dr. Joel Rana. Dr. Joel Rana, are you with us?
Yes, thank you, Sasi. I'm not actually doctor. I'm Joel Rana. Am I clear to all of you?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I am Joel Rana, working as Additional Deputy Director, Export in Plant Quarantine Wing, DE, Bangladesh. Happy to be a part of this training with all of you. We all know that hazardous risk of plant products have increased over the last century with the increasing trade of plants products. And PRA is the key instrument of any official action to prevent this. And the present Agriculture Minister has a tremendous focus on agriculture export as well as the agriculture trade. So this will be a very effective training for all of us, I think. I wish you all very good luck. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Shashi, thank you very much.
Doctor.
There is a small change.
Yeah.
We would like to continue with the technical session because some of the dignitaries would like to listen. We will continue the introduction after the technical session before the questions and answers, which you will be holding that discussion.
Sure,
Along
Dr.
with
Varapprasad. Yeah.
I think
So in the meantime, we also request the participants to enter your name and designation in the chat box. So we will now move on with our session. So request Dr. Ravi Katrapal to provide the importance of PRA training to Bangladesh. Dr. Ravi?
Yeah, I think Louis, you can put his
Sorry,
presentation.
I was on mute. Yeah. So, okay.
Over to you, Dr. Ravi, for providing the importance of PRA
Just
training.
let me share my screen. I am coming back to you all.
Sure.
Just give me 1 second. Okay, here it is. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening once again. It's a pleasure to be introduced to all of you, and especially our project donors, USAID, USDA, and project partners, implementing partner, Department of Agriculture Extension, and their plant quarantine and plant protection wing, all the participants and my APARI colleagues. I will be giving you a brief on the importance of PRA training. So a lot has been said about it. Is my PowerPoint visible?
Yes, Dr. Ravi, can you please put on the slideshow?
Okay. So now, if you look at the key SPS issues or key SPS areas that need attention in Bangladesh, number one is we have to boost the export in Bangladesh. So the market access has to be enhanced, which means there's a need of a dynamic pest database and pest risk analysis for export. And we will see over the course of training how PRA is indispensable for trade negotiation and market access. SPS information management system to be put in place. This is another component of the project which we have started, where we would be having a one-stop shop, including the pest database in Bangladesh, all the information related to SPS that will facilitate the conduct of PRA also. Capacity is to be built at all levels. Individual capacity, which we are doing by this training. Institutional capacity, which we are doing through the SPS information management system, and also by making sure that we have the capacities of the enabling environment, which will be doing through some of the legislative amendment. Will be doing the improvement in the Plant Quarantine Act. Then innovations to be captured and scaled up. And then, as was mentioned before, the soft skills or the functional capacity to be blended with technical capacity. PRA training has been going on around the world. I had been conducting it in more than 11 countries in my career under FAO and World Bank programs and all. But it is only after joining APARI I realized the importance of the functional capacity, which is building soft skill, which helps in the people to use their technical capacity to the best of its shape by providing them capacity to navigate the complexities, capacity for reflection and learning, capacity to collaborate, and so on. So this is something we are doing with other WTO projects also, and we are very happy that we got a chance to implement this along with the PRA training in Bangladesh also. Now, about the phytosanitary capacity evaluation, where I was quite actively involved with USDA earlier when I was working for CABI South Asia, we had an in-depth analysis of the available capacity and capacity gaps on 13 issues, which are bullets which are given here. If you see those in maroon color, they are the core: NPPO structure and process, pest risk analysis, and then phytosanitary import regulation and export certification. These were the four we narrowed down in consultation with USDA while designing the project that we will be bringing to this project, which we are doing now. And pest risk analysis is at the core of everything. Now, just a small recap. I know everyone knows about this subject and all, but a small recap I think will do good. What is phytosanitary measure? We all should be on the same page in terms of the language or the vocabulary we are using. It is any legislative or regulatory or official procedure having the purpose to prevent the introduction or spread of quarantine pests or to limit the economic importance of regulated non-quarantine pests. So phytosanitary measure has an official flavor. It has an official color to stop the movement of the pest. Quarantine pest, economically important, not known to occur in a country. Regulated non-quarantine pests, which are highly economically important, though they may be known to occur in the country. Then PRA, I'm sorry to bring back to the very basics of it, though you are going to listen in abundance for the coming 7 days. PRA is the process of evaluating biological or other scientific and economic evidence for 3 purposes: to determine whether an organism is a pest, whether it should be regulated, and the strength of any phytosanitary measures to be taken against it. So that is what the PRA in brief is. And if you look at the SPS agreement and IPPC, the key parameters, countries have the right to use phytosanitary measures, which I just explained, for protecting their plant resources and trade. And phytosanitary measures, which I just defined, which has an official flavor, this should be only applied when necessary. It's a very important point, and it should be technically justified by PRA. You see here how much PRA becomes important. PRA only, the analysis only tells us whether a given phytosanitary measure which a country prior to export or prior to import is going to apply is justified technically or not. And it has to be very transparent, not restrictive than necessary to manage risk, and it should be non-discriminatory. So measures which do not meet the international standards of phytosanitary measures, they are not justified by PRA, are considered as technical barriers to trade. So this technical barrier to trade is what we have to avoid and what the PRA tells us exactly how to move ahead. Now, significance of PRA. National list of regulated pests, which include species of qualified as quarantine pest or regulated non-quarantine pests based on the results of PRAs. This national list is developed based on the results of PRAs. National phytosanitary requirements are based on the conclusion of pest risk management stage of PRA, which is done after the risk assessment. Documented PRAs are technical justifications of phytosanitary measures, which is a requirement of the SPS agreement and IPPC. Documented PRAs is something which you will see how we document it after undertaking it, which is very crucial for having the right amount of a justified technical rational information for trade. There are challenges of PRA, of undertaking PRA. Often in developing countries, as I've seen while working in Cambodia, in Indonesia, in Mauritius, in Nepal, there's a lack of information. There's no information, then how you will do the risk analysis. That is a big challenge, which our trainers, the specialists will tell you how to overcome that as much as possible. Biology of the pest is quite challenging because it changes with the changing climate. There is something documented, the geographical area changes, and how you look at while undertaking PRA is very important. With the biology, the epidemiology of pest also changes. The damage it caused is a major challenge. Trade data is often a challenge. It's not properly documented. Then there are uncertainties. Like you may conduct a PRA, you may suddenly get a pest which was not known to occur from the exporting country itself. Some new pest may come, some unidentified pest may come. How you take up this challenge? And overall, the qualification of experts who are conducting PRA is a big challenge. We are trying to build in this training program in Bangladesh in a humble way, some basics of the expertise which are required. But let me say, this is a regular exercise. This has to be updated. And also, for the information of all of you, I just learned that International Plant Protection Commission is revising the ISPM on PRA. There are 4 ISPMs which are related, 2, 5, 11, and 21. And now they want to put in the ISPM 11 the elements of climate change to be included for the pest risk assessment stage, which might make PRA a bit cumbersome, or though it will be more important because we all are facing the wrath of the climate change, and there's a paradigm shift in the movement of pests with the global trade. So the PRA has to capture that point very scientifically in future. But this is still in the process. It's yet not come up as an official amendment. Now, important areas of capacity development. If you look at here, there are some legislative gaps, for strengthening PRA we need to plug. I have given it in my PCE report. There are a couple of points which are clearly mentioned. And if I have to just name one or two, it's like the NPPO's obligation to promptly review the phytosanitary measures, for example. Then improving organizational structure and competences. With the Bangladesh PCE, we found here there's definitely a need of a PRA manager in the plant quarantine wing. There's a need of a PRA unit which has to be established. There's a need of linkages of the plant quarantine wing, not only with plant protection wing, but with the research organizations like BARC, like BARI and other research institutes, and also with the private sector. So there's quite a lot of things which need to be strengthened when we do an effective PRA. Then we need to develop the documented procedures. When we say documented procedures, we mean here the operational manuals of PRA. There has to be an operational manual to conduct PRA after the project is over, after the training is over. There has to be a system of storing the information in a repository. There has to be proper linkages with other programs, and there has to be a regular review and audit also. Sorry, the last one is building an appropriate human resource capacity, which is quite important, where we need to have capacity of the individuals. When we build the capacity, how we retain the capacity is a challenge for the DGDAE. Like now, 40 people will be trained. After 1 year, maybe 10 people are left there, or maybe 7 people. Some are promoted, some are transferred, some are in the field wings of extension. So there are a lot of things which the senior management, like the Director General BAE and his staff, like directors or plant quarantine, will have to really work out so that we retain the capacity in a very efficient way. Well, some key messages I will give regarding the importance. PRA, as I mentioned, is indispensable for trade of agricultural commodities under WTO regime as a compliance to SPS agreement. PRA training is crucial for the NPPO, which we are doing. And this is the first training of more than a dozen training we have forcing in the project. And this is going to be like the longest training, maybe 7-8 days. Other trainings may not require so much time. PRA is the basis of trade negotiation and market access. But the point which is very important is conducting PRA requires patience. Patience we need in abundance, because when you will look at case studies, you will have to see how you use your skill, how you develop your knowledge or how you use your knowledge, and how you go with the linkages to make the interpretations to go to the next step. So this was a roadmap we had prepared for phytosanitary capacity of Bangladesh when we finished the PCE there. And you see here on the top left, there were 4 areas we chose to make it a part of the project, where PRA, along with NPPO structure and process, export certification and import certification becomes very important. If we have to achieve this roadmap, whereby we start analyzing the gaps, the PCE, which is done, we invest now, the USDA, USAID are investing on the certain key elements of the NPPO's requirement. And gradually, as Bangladesh is now bringing its own national plant quarantine authority, as we see the cases with the Ministry of Agriculture, as we move ahead in this part, we will be enhancing our market access in coming 5 years. We'll be ensuring more biosecurity for Bangladesh. And I think there will be a great boost to the economy of Bangladesh if we are able to respect this time frame, this procedure, this training, this whole capacity building, this knowledge management in Bangladesh in the coming years. So in conclusion, I would say Bangladesh is a vibrant country. And I always say that, having worked there for a number of years, phytosanitary compliances have significant importance. And among them, PRA is number 1. This USDA project will really address so many issues, which I have listed here. And we hope this will gradually change the scenario of trade for Bangladesh. With this, I would like to thank USDA, USAID, DAE, and each and every one, to all the participants, to all of you for your patient listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ravi, for briefing on the process. With this very brief introduction on status of this PRA, I would now request Mohammad Asadullah, Director General, DAE, to present his welcome address.
Thank you. Good morning and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I have the pleasure to welcome you all in the first day of pest risk analysis and pest risk assessment training under the project Improving Phytosanitary Trade Compliance in Bangladesh project, implemented by Asia Pacific Association of Agricultural Research Institution and funded by USDA. Firstly, I thanks Mr. Ruby Khatarpal for his nice presentation about the importance of PRA training in Bangladesh. I think it will be helpful for our officers. In this auspicious occasion, I must admit that I am not an expert in this line, but as a Director General of the Department of Agricultural Extension, I have some knowledge about plant quarantine. So far, I know that the SPS agreement came into force on January 1st, 1995, with the transition from the GATT to the World Trade Organization, with binding dispute settlement mechanism that brought risk analysis to the forefront for the phytosanitary community.
The SPS agreement specified that phytosanitary measures must be based on either international standard or risk assessment. Since the phytosanitary community had no history of standard setting at the time of beginning, so all phytosanitary measures must be based on risk analysis. At that time, all plant quarantine authorities, those countries who are members of the WTO, suddenly faced the potential of WTO challenges from the trading partners for unjustified phytosanitary measures unless they could produce an SPS compliant risk analysis. The outstretched distorting issues causing tension at the time caused several countries to move quickly to develop risk analysis capabilities. As a LDC country, we are not able to do anything in this regard. Firstly, we established plant protection wing under the Department of Agricultural Extension. Later, in 2014, we have a separated plant protection wing to make a plant quarantine wing. But when we established plant quarantine wing, mistakenly we could not able to comply with the compliance of the WTO SPS agreement and FUIPPC standard. In the plant protection or plant quarantine, there is a need to specific expertise in specific field like pest risk analysis, pest identification, phytosanitary inspection, surveillance, analytical capability, and so on. In the organogram, we did not keep people in all the areas like pest risk analysis team. I know that the PRA is a dynamic field which requires entomologist, plant pathologist, botanist, weedologist, ecologist, economist, mathematicians, social scientist, agronomist, and the people from geography. So we are not able to conduct any pest risk analysis, but we have outsourced some of the PRAs from a government of Bangladesh, though they have limitation as all imports not properly set, but these are only the asset of us. In the meantime, we are going to establish National Plant Quarantine Authority, which was laid down in our Plant Quarantine Act 2011. We will try to establish this authority as soon as possible, where all the relevant field officials will be there in place. I assure that I will help establishing National Plant Quarantine Authority. I expect that our officers will be able to conduct PRS required by importing countries after completing this training course. I heard that to complete the course will require 7 to 9 days and a very technical and hard training. I also expect that after completing the course, we will be able to fulfill the requirement of the importing country so that we could safeguard our agriculture as well as boost up our export by exploring new market access. So far as I know, from very beginning, 1998, so far as I remember that I got a training about PRA. That was 5 days. That was 5 days, and I think I remember that training is very helpful in my next service life. But now I think this training will be very helpful for our officers. I think our participant, firstly, when I joined, it was 57, but now I see it is 51. So I requested Rita De and Asanullah for just monitoring the participant. If they left, I think it will be not helpful for them. I wish the training a success. My sincere gratitude goes to Honorable Dr. Ravi Khatarpal, Executive Secretary of AFARI, Agriculture Attaché in Bangladesh, Mark Roseman, USDA FS Dhaka, Ms. Rebecca Robinson, Feed the Future, Team Leader and Deputy Office Director, USAID Jesse Marjitaba Fernandez of FAS USDA, Ms. Gloria from USAID, Dr. Bhara Prasad, Project Manager, Martina Spisikova, Nora, Dr. Bora Prasad, Senior Consultant, for their continuous support to us in the field plant quarantine and plant protection, as well as DA of Ministry of Agriculture. My gratitude also goes to the participant of DA and other stakeholders. Again, I wish a fruitful training. Thank you all.
Thank you so much to our Honorable Director General for this wonderful welcome address. We've seen you in all our training, and you made sure you are present to all the trainings, and you welcome the participants, and you address the participants, and you stress the importance of being present in all the trainings. Thank you so much, sir, for your great support. We are really honored to have you with us. So with this, we will now move on to our technical session. So I would now request Dr. Varaprasad from APARI to present on the PRA and functional capacity training process. Dr. Varaprasad, over to you.
Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon again. And I request Louis to share the screen regarding my presentation and training process. So thanks again to our Director General BAE for a wonderful support for the project implementation, and for also keenly observing the participation of the DAE as well as other stakeholders in the interest of the Bangladesh. Thank you very much, sir. I'm also thankful to the US side and USDA officials for giving this opportunity of conducting this training. And very briefly, I will cover what is this training, how do we go about, and then this will help you in just gauging what is going to happen next 7 days. The participants, as you have seen, some of them introduced, some of them will be introduced shortly from the DAE, particularly plant quarantine wing and plant production wing, and even other wings, and also the Bangladesh Agricultural Research Council, universities, seed association, and from other organizations as well. About 42 registered, but 33 have answered the pre-training questionnaire. So I think the Director General's observation, probably all the trainees are there intact. It may be some dignitaries who have gone, but I would like to tell all of you that this will be available. The first day or 0 days, entire technical and introductory sessions will be available on YouTube. You can watch it even later also. So coming to the first point, we requested all the participants well in advance that you please complete the modules in spscourses.com, which is a public domain training material available. We requested for going through the module of risk analysis and risk assessment. And some of them have definitely done it and even uploaded the completion certificate. For various reasons, today the Bangladesh situation, because of the COVID, sometimes internet availability, sometimes not able to answer properly, so could not get the completion certificate. It happened, but nothing to worry. It's a very few hours job. Even today you can do that, tomorrow you can do that, tomorrow again evening, 4:30 Bangladesh time only training session starts. But it is in your own interest. If you complete these 2 modules, you will be better oriented and feel comfortable in attending this training for 7 days. And we have designed this training in such a way that a pre-training test is taken. 33 of them have answered it, as I told you. There will be also one post-training session, and we will also show you the results, not on individual marks, but each question, how much people have really answered or having the right answer. And if there is some gap, then that will be explained by the Lloyd and Mike Hennessy. They will explain at the end of this today's program. And also on the functional capacity, you will be receiving the feedback of the answers from the trainees by Shashi. Then the importance of this particular training is, it's not just transferring the technical knowledge. Many times it is available in the Google or in the training material developed by the public domain material or even the USDA or APHIS material is available. But we have to couple up with add the value to that by adding the functional capacities. And what is this functional capacity? How it will help you, Shashi will explain. And also the responses will be analyzed and presented to you at the end of the day today. Then we also have orientation and commitment. You can see that many of the senior officers from the USDA and USAID and all of the PRA project senior staff and others also have committed to this training and to this project, and they're all present here. Thanks to one and all for your presence, enthusiasm, interest, and contribution. And we have the technical information about the training. We have already shared with all the participants what are going to be the activity sheets, what are the kinds of questions, and how this program will run for 7 days, already shared. And there will be ample opportunity for discussion individually with all the participants, and also feedback from the participants will be allowed. Thanks to the training coordinator and Dr. Hasanullah, who made this possible to divide not only to invite the participants, but divide them into groups so that individual attention is paid. So every topic that we are covering will have a theoretical presentation from the consultants, Mike and Lloyd, and also there will be activity sessions every day. And we are also planning to have one role play on one of the days where you will assume a particular role and try to negotiate it, and hope that experience is enjoyable to all of you. Next slide, please. Then we have the, as I told you, functional capacity is built, and based on the participants list, we are thinking of the 4 groups, and these breakout sessions, some experience I hope Shashi will be able to give if time permits today itself, how you break out and how you come back to the main session. And also each group is provided with an exclusive moderator. Sometimes one more moderator is also there to assist the group, so that we will select one leader from the group who will note down all the discussion and make a presentation on what has happened in that particular group. It's very easy. You have to do nothing but to accept, go to the breakout session, and automatically you will bring back to the main hall. Then the group leaders from each group will be identified well in advance, maybe a day before, and participants will make their presentation on the activity that they have conducted so that it is strongly registered in their mind. Then whatever the material that has been already shared with you, you can take a printout, keep it with you, or you can keep a soft copy and refer it whenever it is required. And another very important provision made in this training session is every day there will be a recap of what happened yesterday. And also the personal logbooks are provided to all the participants. These personal logbooks, do not think that it is to monitor what you have learned, is not our purpose, but it is for your reference in the future. Those people, participants who are serious and he thinks that he is weak or strong, or maybe some threatenings or opportunities are there, he will note down that on this topic, I will read further. On this topic, I can give some consultancy. That kind of, for each question, what is it that I am missing? You can make your own in the personal logbook entries, your own notes, which will be very much helpful. And based on the performance in your courses, your modules you have been asked to take, and during the training also, there will be a process to be followed based on the requirement for the country, based on the advice from the Ministry of Agriculture or the Department of Agriculture Extension. A short, small team will be selected who will be handheld to become the PRA team member, and also to get a better material further for negotiating on behalf of the Bangladesh team to develop the PRA for various requirements of export and import. And lastly, I would like to submit that feedback is extremely important. So we We open our eyes and ears for your feedback, whatever you give, and we want to continuously improve ourselves to serve you better. Thank you very much for this attention. I am done, Shashi. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Varaprasad, for highlighting all the key points of this 7-day training and also taking the participants through group discussion and recap sessions. I'm sure participants, we have incorporated so many new features into this training. Unlike webinars, you'll not be just sitting and listening. You'll be actually involved in all the activities of this training. So with this, I would now like to invite Dr. Anwar Hussain, Director PQW, to provide a presentation on need for PRA capacity and establishment of PRA unit. Dr.
Thank you very much.
Anwar, yeah,
Thank you very much. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Honorable Director General, Department of Agriculture Extension, Mr. Asadullah, Dr. Ravi Khetarfau, Executive Secretary from APADI, Agricultural Attaché in Bangladesh, Mark Rossman, USDA FAS Dhaka, Rebecca Robinson, FIT, the future team leader and Deputy Office Director, USAID, Jesse Murtzitaba Fernandez of FAS USDA, Gloria from USAID, Dr. Bhairav Sad, Project Manager, APADI USDA, Martina Spisikova and Dr. Nora, Senior Consultant, APADI. My colleagues, very good morning and good afternoon to everybody. I am very much delighted to be here with you on the setting of the context of PRA status in Bangladesh under the project Improving Phytosanitary Capacity in Bangladesh. Today, my topic is need for PRA capacity establishment of a PRA unit. As plant quarantine director and working as National Plant Protection in Bangladesh, this is very much relevant to me because conducting PRA and establishing PRA unit is one of our responsibilities. I am really grateful to USAID, USDA and APADI to come up with the technical assistance for conducting pest risk analysis and identification of pest, surveillance, phytosanitary inspection, SPS knowledge-based web portal, especially required for plant quarantine personnel, experts, importers of Bangladesh, as well as exporters and importers of importing countries. Bangladesh is a member country of World Trade Organization and a contracting party of IPPC. So Bangladesh has to abide by the rules and regulations set by the WTO and FAO IPPC. But unfortunately, likewise other countries, we could not yet establish the National Plant Protection Organization. This is one of the reasons which lead us to incompetency in some areas of SPS issues like PRA, pest identification, surveillance, phytosanitary inspection, etc. We all know that pest risk analysis is a multidisciplinary field where entomology, plant pathology, botany, agronomy, weed science, ecology, statistics, etc. play a vital role in conducting PRA. But system in place in Bangladesh perspective did not allow us to gather all the expertise in line. So we are not able to conduct PRA and was not possible to establish a PRA unit. This was also aggravated by our knowledge gap in displayed. Dear ladies and gentlemen, as I said earlier, the plant protection wing of the Department of Agricultural Extension of Bangladesh has partly personnel so to do so what making a PRA unit, it is to some extent hard to come by. Moreover, our personnel are rotating over the period of time because of promotion and posting as well. Due to lack of manpower, our documentation, information gathering, and information retrieval system are poor, which is making us hurdles from making PRA. For the purpose of export of some agricultural products, we are now facing problems for providing PRA report and information gathering regarding exported products. This problem has to be overcome soon, or we may face difficulty in incoming days. We are working to overcome the problems. As we want to export diverse products from Bangladesh, so to provide products information and PRA reports to the countries, we need to establish a PRA team as soon as possible simultaneously. We need competency to conduct PRA and information gathering and data retrieval system. As of today, we do not have any PRA team and we have a little competency. So this project will help us to go forward. But in the meantime, with the help of strengthening phytosanitary capacity in Bangladesh project of DAE, we have outsourced some PRA and made a pest list. Currently, these are the PRA asset of Bangladesh and serving a little bit purpose, but this outsourced PRA has some limitations because everywhere there are lacking in our country for collecting and gathering information and retrieve of them. So to make a good PRA, a PRA team is needed to be established to meet the requirements laid down in the World Trade Organization SPPS agreement and FAO IPPC standards. Now we are preparing to establish the National Plant Quarantine Authority, which is the mandate of our Plant Quarantine Act 2011. Until now, we could not make it, but we are in the process of establishing the National Plant Quarantine Authority. In the process of establishment, we seek our assistance in respect of legislative and international obligations. I am very much happy with the training because we will be the most beneficiary of this training and the trainings to come. My sincere gratitude to our Honorable Director General, Mr. Asadullah, for his kind presence in the inaugural session. My heartfelt thanks goes to respected Dr. Ravi Ketarpal, Executive Secretary of APADI, Agricultural Data in Bangladesh, Mark Grossman, USDA Pest Dhaka, Mrs. Rebecca Robinson, Jesse Murjitova Fernandez, Gloria from USA, Dr. Bhara Prasad, Project Manager, Martina Skikova, Nora, Dr. Bhara Prasad, Senior Consultant for their continuous support to us My gratitude also goes to the participants of DAE and other stakeholders. I wish a fruitful training. Thank you all. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anwar Hussain, for briefing us the requirements and the gaps in and the need for PRA in Bangladesh. It was always great. It is always great listening to your presentations. So with this, now I request Dr. Asanullah to present the status of PRA in Bangladesh and way forward. Dr. Asanullah, over to you. Dr. Asanullah, you are on mute. Please unmute yourself and then.
Again, sorry for delay. It takes times to unmute. Thank you very much to allow me to say present something in this occasion. I am Mohammad Hasanullah, coordinator of PRA. Today, what I will be telling is the experience of my own. What is happening, what happened to the plant quarantine wing regarding the PRA. So please, next slide, please. If I want to say that is until 2009, I joined here in 2007, and 2009 PRA was understood in Bangladesh as participatory rural appraisal because it was very previous terms used everywhere in the world, also in Bangladesh, as it is widely used by different donors as donor agencies in the project in Bangladesh. We have taken 3 officers from plant quarantine wing PRA training that was held in Thailand, organized by the APPC, that is so-called IPPC, I can say also, that is in Bangkok, with different countries participants. We have 3 peoples in the Bangkok. Next slide, please. After then, in 2008, the USDA came up to assist us in helping plant protection wing. We have been we are now in plant quarantine wing, but before then, until 2014, we have the plant protection wing. The USD came forward to assist Bangladesh plant protection wing for building capacity and participatory compliances issues. The plant later we divided or separated from plant protection wing and came into being a wing that is plant quarantine wing in 2014. On the basis of the collaboration, the USDA has taken our director plant protection wing in 2011 to US and provided PRA training, but he was retired. As a director, he was supposed to take some initiatives to develop our plant health issues in Bangladesh, but unfortunately, we did not get any output from his studying because only a few days, 6 months later, he retired. Next, please. From 2012 to 2014, more training were provided for the plant protection officials and PRA in the North Carolina and Maryland on plant health system analysis course, especially plant health analysis course, and 1 PRA courses. But now they are either retired or they're left. And but from 2013 to 2015, around 15 officers from our plant quarantine wing or plant protection wing attended the training course on PRA plant health systems with ID system in Hyderabad, India. But we did not get intended result because our plant quarantine wing has no authority yet. Until the authorities form, actually we are not getting good results. But today we have appreciate our Director General that he will be assisting us in establishing authority in Bangladesh. Simultaneously, USDA also provided a 2 to 3 days training program on pest ID categorization of commodities according to their pest risk, methodologies of sampling, of consignment, portal inspection, etc. in Bangladesh. But the system in place in Bangladesh could not provide us any expected output because people are coming and people are going. As we are cadre officer in Bangladesh. Cadre officer means that is he will be staying in place in one place 2 to 3 years, and then he will be back. We will go somewhere other desk, not the previous desk. So pesticide analysis is very new in Bangladesh, though it is it has started when the WTO came into force in 1995. Then developed countries began to conduct PRA for complying with the phytosanitary compliance issues with their trading partners. As a member country to the WTO and a secretary to the IPPC, Bangladesh was supposed to care about the obligations of the agreement and convention. So we should take the responsibility of forming national plant protection organization with relevant person in places, but it is still going on. The process is still going on. Okay, next please. Next slide, please. Even when PWO was separated from PWO, there was an opportunity to set personnel in all disciplines of plant quarantine, like formation of PRA unit, surveillance unit, pest ID group, export and import certification unit, participated in a special team, setting documentation and retrieval system, relevant personnel in places. But due to lack of our knowledge and competency, we missed this opportunity because those who are responsible in preparing the organogram, they did not understood the requirement of this unit of this personnel to be required for the plant quarantine, so that they did not put it in place, their personnel there. Till date in Bangladesh, agriculture, Ministry of Agriculture is mean, agriculture is mean, and departments is mean for producing more and more, and we will combat the pest situation by pesticide, not by any other means. The idea for overall safeguarding agriculture was mostly ignored, and the prevent the entry and establishment of invasive alien species, the word from IPPC, with the imported traded commodities and other plant quarantine related activities are the agriculture safeguarding activities were not given proper attention because of lack of our knowledge and competence. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. At the time in 2011 or 12, some of the quarantine entomologists had wanted to conduct PRA. This thinking came up as a result of studying the space agreement and IPPC standards and receiving PRA training from outside Bangladesh. But how to start conducting PRA was a big challenge for them, as there are no expert for conducting PRA and no PRA unit is existing here. But we know to conduct PRA, a unit is required with pathologists, entomologists, ecologists, agronomists, environmental scientists, physicians, statisticians, social scientists, geography people. But earlier I said that we would not keep personnel in voted place in that position, so that we don't have any people like that. So we could not. It is our challenges how to conduct PRA. But a little opportunity came to conduct PRA when PPWD has taken a project titled Strengthening Advisory Capacity in Bangladesh, where a little activity was taken or kept for conducting PRA. As there are no PRA in Bangladesh, so we thought that we will conduct PRA by outsourcing, engaging university professors, professors of entomology and pathology, researchers, quarantine persons, economists, and the officials and other stakeholders also. Rather than we did nothing, we had nothing to conduct PRA unless we have taken these initiatives. This next one. As our knowledge and resources are limited, so we are not able to conduct PRA as resourceful as the other countries do. But we will try to conduct PRA incorporating all available resources and information required for PRA to make an acceptable level. We follow the framework of ISPM 2 and 11 for conducting PRA because of most of them are commodities PRA. We try to accommodate all our available resources in conducting PRA, but lack of data, pest information, and other deficiency caused PRA a little bit deficient. This is, in third countries, Dr. Ravi Khatarpal also said the data is not there available in especially in LDC countries. For conducting PRA, we gather information from KABI. Whatever the case may be, our professors, all of them, we try to gather information for KB, APPU, IPPC, APPC, research journals, books, and personnels to and other journals published in other countries also. But it has to be it is known that all it is known to all that numerous schemes, methods, guidelines, and processes have been developed and implemented by different experts and organizations to address many types of PRA problems. Not only one methods or guidelines or one schemes. There are so many numerous schemes, methods, guidelines are followed in different countries, different ways. So far, we have conducted 15 commodity PRA, 4 pest PRA, and 1 pest list. To develop pest list, we try to follow the APIS pest list, though we did not complete it as the APIS did, but eventually we had APIS list now. Right. As we had no clear pest information, so to conduct PRA, we first surveyed the pest status in Bangladesh through making several survey teams, gathering information from universities, research organizations, regulatory organizations. Other limitations are there that we have to complete the PRA within the limited period of time because there is no system in place to spend money for one task over the years. This was most likely tendering system. So we did not have alternative options rather than doing PRA by a limited period of time. The PRA was conducted with the help of Plant Quarantine Wing. After completion of the PRA, all PRAs are submitted to the Plant Quarantine Wing of DAE to publish in their website. Next slide, please. The list of conducted PRA are following. That is citrus in 2014, cotton, eggplant, sesame, pulses, onion and garlic, guava, groundnut, potato, wheat, mango, cut flower and foliage, figure beans, coconut, banana, Pest is are millibug globodera species made fly, that is Ceratris capitata, false codling moth, and we have done eventually we have completed developing pest list in 2018. Next slide. Because of shortage of expert financial resources and rare lack of knowledge and information resources, we are bound to combine same species of commodities in one PRA like pulses, onion, and garlic, cut flour, and foliage and picker beans. Because there are pulses beans, not only one pulse, there are so many pulses. Picker beans, not one picker bean. There are so many cases. We have just selected some of the picker beans, 2 or 3. We have selected 2 to 3 pulses. One is onion, another is garlic. Two are different things, but combined together. Cut flour and foliage. There are so many cut flour and foliages, but we have kept some of them only. Our respected professors, researchers, and DAE officials are very much cooperative and helpful in conducting PRAs. Our conducted PRAs, you see, that are mostly commodity based. Next slide, please. Why for you see, WTO SPS agreement exempt LDC countries for 5 years to develop themselves to reach to an acceptable level. It is those who have read out the WTO SPS agreement, they know that the exemption period was only for 5 years for LDC countries. But we have enjoyed the exemption and we have gone a long way. But now, right now, we don't have any opportunity or we don't have any what to say that we are LDC or we are graduating countries. If we are graduated to the middle income countries, then it will be more tougher to us. Now, importing countries are keen to have PRAs from Bangladesh. So far, my knowledge goes to South Korea, Japan, warrant PRA for mango for import. Other countries are also wanted PRA for other countries. So now we have no way to go rather than conducting PRAs. Our seed industry is in Bangladesh is growing so fast. So far, so for extending import and export of seed, conducting PRA is now very essential because of not conducting PRA for seed and other pending materials, market access will be tightened and trading of seeds would be hampered. It is most likely because rather than the conducting PRA, trading of seed is very tougher for us. So please next slide, please. Other imported and exported commodities also warrant PRAs, and we are it is our we face difficulties in answering the questions because we don't have resourceful data or retrieval system, and we have no PRAs and available information. Countries all over the world have adopted pesticide analysis as a means to inform regulatory decisions for plant protection. And as a signatory country, we have to abide by the international obligations. Pesticide analysis informs and guides decisions for regulatory plant protection from domestic activities such as prioritizing pest for surveillance to make quarantine decisions regarding the importation of products from other countries. Because if we want to import our commodity from other countries, PRA is very much required. So we must know the conducting PRA whenever we are importing any new commodities from other countries or commodities from other countries. It's very important. Let's split. Regulatory plant protection decisions affect imported and exported products. We are facing regularly. This is again the USDA with the help of PRA came up with capacity building that will enable us adoptions and implementation of obligation under the International Sanitary and Phytosanitary Agreement of the World Trade Organization. The Foreign Legal Service and the US Agency for International Development, USAID, work hand in hand to increase Bangladesh's ability to improve its institutional and regulatory systems through the Bangladesh SPS State Capacity Building Program. The USDA assisted Bangladesh in conducting participatory capacity evaluation in 2018. The UPC is a short analysis of a country's ability in response to trade compliance for any participatory issues. Next slide, please. Assist Bangladesh. The Foreign Agriculture Service has taken a project titled as the Improving Participated Compliance in Bangladesh. The project supports the United States Department of Agriculture and Foreign Agriculture Service strategic plan by the following, because some of the commodities we are exporting to USA that are not accepted by the US because of presence of MRLs and Pest. So they are very keen to assist us in developing our participatory capacities. So they have taken this project. And under this project, the objective is the supporting trade policy by pursuing the development of rule-based international systems that facilitate global trade. That is not only the US and Canada, but also the global trade. They are assisting us. Supporting trade capacity building and food security by enhancing partner countries' capacity for agricultural development and participation in international trade. Everybody should know that the knowledge for negotiation, for trading is very much important. So the capacity building is very much needed for any negotiation for sustainable agricultural development, and boosting trade is very important. Next slide, please. USDA in partnership with Safari is assisting the DAE to strengthen the institutional capacity of Bangladesh plant health system, strengthening the national pest risk analysis system, national export and import certification system, and the national plant protection organization structure process. Within these broad areas, specific recommendations are noted in the participatory capacity evaluation, which will guide the development and implementation of the NPP strategic plan. Every NPP should have a strategic plan what he is required to do in every aspects. Conducting our PC revealed that where we are strong, where we are weak, where we have the opportunities, and what are our threats. So PC recommendation will guide us to make our own ways to comply with the trade compliance, as well as recommendations are laid down there. USDA supported plant quarantine wing of DAE to conduct participatory capacity evaluation in Bangladesh, intended to SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat of our participatory capacities as per IBPC module. The good job was done by Dr. Ravi Khatarkal sir. Sir has mentioned his presentation that some recommendations are there. We had made some recommendations following the IBPC standards and modules. So I have noted his recommendation here. The recommendation, first recommendation was the legislation. Because whenever we conducted PC, we have seen so many lapses and gaps in our legislation. That is why we need to revise our legislation. We need that what we have written in the recommendation need provisions to empower the LPU to develop time frame for implementing rules, need for provisions of financial powers to NPU, stakeholders' participation need to be included, need provisions to make NPU responsible for protection of endangered area and for the designation, maintenance, and surveillance of the pest-free areas. There are some words are there, some glossaries are there. So every participant have the ISTM 5 glossary of participatory terms, and that they have, if they read this glossary of participatory terms, they will understand what is the pest-free areas, what is the endangered areas, what is a pest, what is a PRA, etc. Number two, these are mentioned, environmental forces. You see, and we need to directly involve in developing and upgrading its own policies. Numerous pathways for entry for pest need to be addressed. Need for a written participatory policy, human and infrastructural resources to be augmented. You need infrastructure facilities and environmental forces. The ISP 11 is also included in environmental forces, which are coming into big with the climate change, that will be more effective for PRA. Next slide, please. See, NPPO mission and strategy. Need for a strategy plan for NPPO mechanism for inputs from various stakeholders to be developed. A 100% cost recovery model to be developed. SOPs and manuals to be developed. Formal interagency collaboration to be developed. These are the things you see in other countries. We have taken fish and deposited to the government treasury, but these fees are not, the NPO fees should not be deposited to the government treasury. It should be, whenever it will become an authority, so the fees will be accommodated in the authority, and the NPPO can expend his own resources in various purposes whenever needed. D, NPPO structure and process. The autonomy needed by NPPO to operate. Core technical activities such as surveillance, pest eradication, risk communication are needed to be performed. Technical auditing needed. Technical auditing needed. It is to be understood. We have the technical audit, what you are doing actually, because these are the technical things in PRAs, in participatory inspection services, and these are the technical things. So you have to understand it clearly, and there is a need for technical auditing, that you are doing right things or not doing right things. If you are not doing the right things, so you have to correct it. That is the things we have to do. And NPPO resources, financial resources need for undertaking variable courses, human resources needed to carry out all the functions. Human strategy plan for NPPO to be developed, need for financial support for developing proper infrastructure and logistics. Next slide, please. Pest diagnostic capacities. What do we say? We have only 3 people in our pest diagnostic laboratory. We have equipment, but we have no money. We have no reagent. We have no media.
Dr.
So
yeah. If we could speed up, we can also have the participants introduced. If you can.
Okay. Yes, I am finishing it in short time. Pest surveillance and reporting capacity. Surveillance, we are doing surveillance very little, only on for rice. So surveillance is a broad things, you know. Pest eradication capacity. Whenever new pest coming, it should be eradicate first. You should first it eradication program has to be taken by the NPPO. Next slide, please. Participatory input regulatory system, a written program or plans and document procedure for functioning needful, and sufficient skill manpower is required. The pesticide analysis, what we will be doing right now from now on for 1 week. The pestry areas and pestry sites, low pestry area of low pestry prevalence areas has to be established. Next slide. Next, export certification, re-export transit. Proper interaction, liaison among export and NPV is required. Documented operational strategic plan to be developed. Skilled human resources needed, financial and logistic are needed. Needed administrative financial power. It is possible when the NPPO has the authority. DEPQ should consider approaching to FAO for technical cooperation project on capacity building for strengthening its fiduciary measures as the PCA was carried out as per FAO PPC modules. Based on the recommendation, the project was framed to support functional capacity of Bangladesh fiduciary system and started its implementation. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. The USDA Pest and PRA has started the activities, project activities from February 24 with the inception workshop, and this is the first training we have started with the PRA, though we have training on space segregated Bangladesh perspective. The participant we have taken from different stakeholders. This is expected that after completion of this training, a useful and fruitful PRA team will be established. Through the interaction, quarantine we do not have a PRA. We will try to make a PRA unit by using these resources from this training. The participant will form a PRA unit for Bangladesh that will be able to conduct PRA with the help of complying with the participating requirements of the voting factory, and our compliance issues will be resolved gradually. Next slide, please. Last slide. Other training on participatory trade compliance would be coming later on. Simultaneously, this project will create a web portal where all resources and information will be made available for exporters, importers, and reviews, and for all other who wanted to know more about the project is creating awareness among all stakeholders regarding SPS issues using the electronic and print media. It is expected that finally you will be able to form a PRA unit. It is so to conduct PRA, and our capacity will be built in relevant participatory compliance issues while we complete this training. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Asanola, for presenting such a brief status and like way forward. We've seen, we can clearly see your experience on this since you've started from a very long time, and you clearly explained the PRA status. So thank you so much, Dr. Asanola again. With this, I will now go present you the importance of functional capacity building in this project. Nui, I request Nui to kindly share the presentation, and then we'll just see the importance of building functional capacity in this project. So again, I welcome you all. So I'll be presenting this importance of building functional capacities. So this was prepared by me along with under the guidance of my colleague Martina Stasiakova, Knowledge Management Coordinator. Next slide, please. So you all know about APARI, and I don't want to go through it again. So next slide, please. No. So usually what we in APARI try to do is always try to incorporate the technical knowledge and the functional capacity together in a project. So let us just imagine we have all the theoretical knowledge we want through this training and all that. And if we don't take that to place, or if we don't have that in place, or if we don't apply it practically, it is of no use. So we in APARI, we strongly believe that this technical capacity and the functional capacity are like two dials of a clock, and we need both these dials to move forward in any of the project or any activities that we do. So that's why this project has been mostly stressed incorporating all the technical and the functional capacities together. Next slide, please. So what we try to do when we mean this functional capacity and improving the functional capacity or capacity development is like we try to analyze where we right now stand in terms of PRA or whatever the phytosanitary measures where we are and where we need to go and what we need to do to achieve the level or the standard of export or whatever it is. We try to identify the gaps. So mostly we know most of us are trained technically, we are scientists, we come from industrial background and whatever, but we lack this many skills of communicating together, working together or finding what the problem is. So that's where we in APARI help to incorporate all this and we try to take those answers from you and we try to incorporate those into all the projects. So that's why we are here to analyze the gap in terms of functional capacity to take this project to the next level. Next. Yeah, so by meaning functional capacity, what we say is what vision we have in this project and what are the innovation that we are trying to do. What are we trying to do different from what we have been doing so far? And what are the skills we need to achieve the required level of export? And what is the confidence we need to communicate with other actors, like say, let's say farmers, let's say exporters, let's say other countries who's importing? And what is the where do we get the motivation to do all this? And who's empowering us to, who's pushing us forward to go with this? And who is mentoring us? We take into consideration all these external aspects, which you don't know that these are functional capacities. We need this all along, but we will not be aware like what is what. So that's why we are here to just incorporate without, like these are not like a standalone training. We are also here to just incorporate in trainings and how well can we incorporate your communication through trainings and how can, like that's where we are trying to improve the functional capacities of this project. Next. So functional capacities also include this all. It is nothing but the soft skills that we need to just go through this project, like let us say communication, documentation, and whatever we call. Other than the training, everything that is revolving around the training is your soft skills. And without these soft skills, we cannot really move forward. So that is also the major focus from APARI to help you get to the next stage. Next. So when we talk about this functional capacity, unlike other divisions or departments, agriculture is really a complex system where we have scientists, farmers, actors, and we also have private partners in the government playing a huge role in making a decision or making a policy. When we are establishing a policy, we should take into consideration all these actors who are involved, and communicating with them and working together with them is the greatest aspect of this establishing a project or making any project successful in that manner. Next. So what we try is like we have individuals, we are individuals working in an organization, and we need an enabling environment for us, like a positive environment which is motivating, giving confidence and everything. To do that, we need only by having like this interrelationship between the organization and the individual, we can achieve a good technical training. We could establish a mentorship. We could facilitate the experience sharing. We could establish a policy, and we could support the knowledge sharing, and we could also develop the functional skills. So this is where we stress the importance of like working together and finding what skills we need or what skills we lack, what is our strength and what is our weakness in bringing this project a success. So that's what we are really trying to do. Next. So according to Tropical Agricultural Platform, what they usually say in terms of functional capacity is we should be having the capacity to navigate complexity, the capacity to collaborate with your colleagues in the team, the capacity to reflect and learn from the mistakes or learn from the previous experiences, and the capacity to engage in strategic and political process. When we do all this, there will be a capacity to adopt and respond in order to realize the potential of innovation. So we have all these four, and then we will be moving towards the innovation. Next. So I have taken an example from our PRA analysis, which shows a key topic for this training. So let us say what we try to do with PRA when we do like flow chart we have is we initiate, like we try to identify the problem, and then we try to identify what is the risk that the pest may possess, and if there are problem, how are we going to manage that pest, and then finally we make a decision based on our observations. So in this we see, like in the stage one, we need to identify we need to talk with the farmer on identifying what the pest is, or the farmer will be communicating to us saying, okay, there is a new pest in my field and I don't know what it is. He approaches to the scientist, and then scientist approaches to his head office and then to the government to start a project or to apply for fund. If it is considered as a pest, if it is a serious issue, then we will be documenting it. So that is also a soft skill, like communicating with the farmer, communicating with an officer, and then documenting. All these are the soft skills that we are talking about. So now, we are not like saying something out of blue. These are the things that we try to incorporate in the project, and we are trying to improve your soft skills through this training as well. Next. So like I said, we are trying to blend the technical and functional capacity. So functional capacity cannot do anything alone if we don't have the technical knowledge. Similar way, when we just have the training and we don't know how to proceed from that, or what should we do after the training, that is of no use. So that's why we try to blend in this through shifting of mindset and attitudes in using this agricultural information system, and then like concept, principles, approaches, and we use different tools and approaches to incorporate and blend these technical and functional skills. We also try to manage play a role in facilitating learning and documentation and knowledge management to provide you with the enabling environment for you to work and move forward. Next. So with this, like we also trying to integration of innovative KM processes into project training and events. Like I said, like we had several sessions before this inaugural day and training to just blend, to not make this like a webinar or like just as like a speech. We tried our best to incorporate most of the activities into this and to make it lively. So like you will be divided into different groups, and you will be having, we need your participation to at most in all the activities. Like we tried to keep it lively, we try to incorporate activities. We'll be hearing all your responses and your progress all through the day. Like from day 1 to day 7, we are going to evaluate how well this process is influencing you and what else do you need. This started like we incorporated several of this methods and soft skills into our training, which you will be seeing a difference. Those who have attended SPS will be definitely noticing that there is a huge difference in the way that we handle this training altogether. Next. So if I had time, I would have asked few participants to infer what this picture really means to you. So I come from a food processing background. So for me, like we have one source, which is tomato, and based on different processing methods, we can make it either as a paste or puree or sauce, or you can dice it, or we can use it as a whole boiled tomatoes, but the core product is tomato. So the thing is, if you could learn soft skill or functional, if you develop a functional capacity once, you can use it to any projects and any trainings. The only thing we should concentrate is how we are going to process those functional capacity in a way it benefits that particular activity or training. So be it SPS training or this PRA training, what you need to focus on is how you are going to take that training forward using this functional capacity. Next. So this is my very brief intro on the functional capacity. I didn't go deep into the technical terms of what functional capacity and all those are, like from what it is. This is what like we tried to show what our major focus is on and how we tried incorporating without any further added words. So with this, I will now stop, and we will move on to our next agenda item, which is like pre-test results and remarks on pre-training that was conducted.
Sasi, can I make a point before you go
Sure,
to
sure,
next
Doctor.
agenda? Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I'll be very brief. What Sasi has mentioned about functional capacity is something which we have initiated in the last 3 years in APARI. And I'm happy to say WTO SKDF, which has projects in Latin America, Africa, and all, everywhere APARI is contracted to do the functional capacity blending with the technical capacity. So this is something we have initiated at a global level. It has been quite accepted, and it is almost becoming a global practice with WTO and maybe with USDA projects in future or any agency. That is one point. Second point I wanted to say, this PRA training for NPPO in Bangladesh will not be the only one. We are in the process of preparing another project with WTO on strengthening public-private partnership and on enhancing the seed trade in Asia-Pacific region. And Bangladesh is one of the partner, one of the NPPOs. And we had a meeting last Friday along with our other project partners like Asia-Pacific Seed Association, American Seed Trade Association, CropLife Asia, and International Seed Federation from Geneva. So what we are doing is in that project where we have so far 7 NPPOs who have already joined, we are looking for more. We want 9 or 10 NPPOs to join. We will be again taking up PRA, will be taking up in that project something on the compliance to the international standards of phytosanitary measure for international seed movement. This is for commercial consignment. Seed is different, as you all know. Seed is meant for sowing. Commercial consignment is meant for consumption. So that follows some different stringent norms. So Bangladesh is a partner, and I see Mr. Jival Rana and Shamsul Alam who attended that meeting. So, and Dr. Anwar Hassan was not there, but in our questionnaire, what we have asked for some questions to finalize the project, I will request PQW to please expedite that. And we will bring more benefit on the PRA by having a synergy between USDA and WTO project in future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ravi, for stressing the importance and how we were incorporating the functional capacity in all our projects as well. Thank you so much, Dr. Ravi, again. So I will now move on to our next agenda, which is pre-test results and remarks on PRA training. I'll first let Mike and Lloyd to go through the survey results and the status. I request Nui to share the screen.
Hello, this is Michael Hennessy. At this point, we were going to go over the pre-test.
No, the quiz survey PDF. Thank you.
And this is part of the functional capacity building, blending with the technical capacity building. Did you have the, Sassy, did you have the pre-test results?
Yeah, so Nui, can you please share the PDF which states quiz results?
The other one.
Thank you. Yes, these are the results of 8 questions that were posed on the SPS online pest risk analysis site, which the 33 persons took. So what I was going to do is go through these 8 questions and the answers, and on the screen we can see the responses that were given by the test takers at the beginning, which is the pre-test. So this gives us an overall idea of what the knowledge level is, what the skill level is of the test takers before they took the before they took the course of pest risk analysis. So if we look at question number one, the first question was the most accurate definition of pest risk analysis is, and the answer actually is to investigate and evaluate economic, biological, and other scientific evidence to determine whether an organism is a pest, if it should be regulated, and determine the strength of phytosanitary measures that should be taken against it. So at the outset, most of your respondents did answer correctly on that, but there is some gap there. Some of the persons answered all of the above on that. So the purpose of our training beginning tomorrow will be to clarify the definition of pest risk analysis and also talk about how to implement it. The second question? The second question was, evidence that is collected during pest risk analysis and presented to the final report should be which of the following? And the correct answer is all the above. 97% of your respondents answered correctly on that. A few of them just answered that it should be science-based, but the training went on to point out that pest risk analysis needs to be transparent, defensible, and science-based, all of the above. Third question. I might invite Lloyd to make any comments that he would wish during this presentation. Third question is, risk analysis is science-based, but not a specific field of science. And this was a true or false question. Most people answered that it was true. Some people thought that it was actually a branch of science, but according to this source, it is science-based, but not a specific field of science. Number 4. Which of the following is an acceptable reason for having insufficient information? And this would refer to insufficient information to make a decision about pest status, pathway status, etc. So the correct answer is there's an information gap in the published research of a particular pest. That was most of your respondents answered correctly on that one, but a number of the respondents thought that all of the above was the answer, which would include necessary pest information is not easy to find, or the NPPO staff does not have anyone with expertise with the specific pest. But the more technical correct answer would be that there is an information gap. Because if the information is there, your NPPO staff is going to find it, we presume. Going to question 5. When considering possible pathways for a pest, which of the following pathways are the most difficult to prevent entry of a pest? Almost everyone answered smuggling. Well, smuggling is an unregulated activity that would go on without the knowledge of the NPPO. So it stands to reason that that would be a very difficult pathway to prevent entry of pests. Some people thought all the above would include a commodity officially imported from shipping containers or international traveler carrying in checked luggage. But really, the NPPO should have some regulatory capacity over those two pathways. Smuggling of seeds would be unregulated, but it would be prohibited, but it would be otherwise unregulated. Number 6. Why is it important to document uncertainty in the pest risk analysis report? As we will learn in our training, uncertainty is going to be our expression in the pest risk analysis of the gaps in our knowledge, which hinder our making a good decision. And that should be transparently given. Why is it important to document the uncertainty? The answer was B, documenting uncertainty makes the pest risk analysis document more open and transparent, and thus more useful to decision makers. It's useful to your decision makers as well as to your stakeholders. Number 7. The pest risk analysis report is a dynamic document that will be revised as new information becomes available and pest control methods advance. That is true. Everyone got that correctly.
100%.
It is a living document, which you will learn that you will constantly be receiving information from your stakeholders and your trade partner about your PRA. That's why it's a living document. You'll have to revise it periodically. Any comment on that, Lloyd?
No, I think that's great that everybody got 100%. Good job.
Yes. Number 8. This was the final question in the pre-test. Which of the following is a definition of a quarantine pest? This is a basic, very basic principle that needs to be understood. The correct answer was B, a pest of potential economic importance that is either not currently present in the area of interest, or if present, is not widely distributed and is being officially controlled. So most people got that correct. Some people thought all of the above was correct. Insect not currently in the country or a nuisance pest. Those would not be complete answers to the definition of a quarantine pest. We would have to go with B, the longest answer there, because that is the definition from the glossary ISTM 5, glossary of the IPPC, and also ISTM 11 guidance on pest risk assessment.
And
So those are the 8
insect
questions. What's that, Lloyd?
So number 8, C, an insect that is not currently in the country. That doesn't really answer the question of, is this a quarantine significant pest? Is it going to be economically damaging? Is it going to survive in the country and go on and reproduce and to become a pest? So even though an insect that isn't currently in the country may indeed be a pest of concern or a quarantine pest, it's not necessarily going to be a pest that prevents the PRA from going forward.
Let's see, we have a question number 9 here. Pest risk analysis is an evolving and dynamic field playing an important role in agricultural innovation processes and systems. Of course, it's a dynamic field. Most of you answered true to that. That would be the correct answer, I think. And we're going to try to make it as dynamic as possible in our training also. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Lloyd and Mike, for sharing the results and briefing what we would be discussing based on the quiz.
If you would like, we could, at this time, go into some of what we will be training tomorrow through day 7.
So we'll just quickly discuss the functional capacity assessment, 2 questions which were also added to the pre-test quiz. So we have given the participants with 15 set of functional capacities which we thought could be useful to develop this, to successfully complete this training based on the discussion with Mike and Lloyd. So from those 15 functional capacity needs, These four were mostly identified as the weakest point which we need to focus on. One is understanding and influencing the politics and power relations between individuals within organizations and of a wider society to bring about new forms of interaction among stakeholders, bringing stakeholders together, designing and leading learning processes of critical reflection leading to action and change, access to and mobilization of resources needed to conduct PRA, facilitative leadership and commitment to communicate and question the status quo on that may lead to innovation. So with this also, I would like to just highlight that that's what we were telling about, like importance of communication and having enabling environment and resources. So this is reflected in the survey as well, like the need to train to facilitate with communication and all that. We will make sure to note, we'll assure you that this is noted and we will incorporate all this in our future training. Also, we will try to identify special webinars to improve these functional capacity aspects. Next, please. So besides that, we also ask participants if there is any other requirement that is needed. And these were the answers that came out, like easy access and sharing knowledge with government department. Again, like communication and knowledge sharing, and skilled manpower and pest identification instruments are insufficient. Again, like resource mobilization. And then like we will try to group all your answers into major categories, and then we will try to address all your queries through this project, how much ever we can. So with this, I would also like to end this functional capacity aspect, and I would give the floor to Mike to brief on training process for tomorrow. Mike, over to you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Sasi. Lloyd and I just wanted to give a short introduction about what to expect tomorrow, day one of the technical training. On tomorrow, we will introduce the case study, which will be used in our activities. And it is a market request to export a commodity from a country into another country. And the trainees will serve as the PRA unit to make the decisions, to make the reports, do the PRA to see if that commodity can be entered into the country. We ask that the trainees review the case study ahead of time and bring that with them to the training tomorrow. We will do 2 group activities tomorrow using this case study. One, writing a scope statement, which is based on ISPM 2 about the initiation of pest risk analysis. And we will be defining the PRA area and the endangered area. We will be asking ourselves, what other information may be needed besides what's in the case study for us to put together a pest risk assessment and complete the pest risk analysis. So those will be the 2 activities that we do. Please review the participants guide about those 2 activities. Also in the participants guide, there are it's very useful because it has the glossary of the IPPC included into it. So that will include the definitions of PRA area and endangered area. And also ISPM 2 is included in the back of the participants guide. It would be very helpful if you could review that. And that gives the framework for initiating the PRA process. And that's what our activities will be addressing tomorrow. So that ISPM 2 defines initiation and scoping of a PRA. Days 2 through 7 on the technical agenda, we will practice creating a pest list, determining quarantine and pathway status, likelihood and consequences of introduction, and risk management. Lloyd, would you have any thing to add to that?
I think you summed it up pretty well there, Mike. Just everybody needs to remember that they are the PRA team, and we are learning by doing. So we are preparing PRA based on this case study. So please, as Mike has said, review the case study, read that thoroughly, take any notes that you think are important. And, as Mike said, again, review the participant guide, the ISPM 2 in the back, and prepare yourself with questions and an eager mind to wrap around this subject. It's a new exercise for us to conduct a Zoom call on something that should be a hands-on workshop. So please bear with us, and any problems or questions that you have, please raise those as they come up, and we can try to address them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lloyd and Mike, for taking us through the agenda and the materials that we will be and activities that we'll be doing for next 7 days. So we still have few participants who didn't get a chance to introduce themselves before when we started the today's inaugural session. So I would also now request with the participants to be quick and introduce yourself for a few seconds before we close today's inaugural session. So I will now start with Fatima Janet Joya. Are you there? Ms. Fatima Janet Joya. Okay, so I'll now request Hosnera Reena, Dr. Hosnera Reena. So please try to unmute now, Dr. Reena. Yeah, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
All. This is Hosnera Reena, Additional Deputy Director Import. I am working in Plant Quarantine Authority, Bangladesh, in seed sector. So pest risk analysis system is very important to us. Hopefully, I think we learn so much about this PRA, and we apply our job or Bangladesh Plant Quarantine section. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Reena. Do we have Fatima Janet with us? Can you try unmuting now?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I am Fatima Jannat Joya, working as quarantine pathologist in Plant Quarantine Wing of PAE from Bangladesh. And thank you, APRA and USDA for arranging this type of session. I hope we learn many things about SPS issues as well as PRA. And thank you again.
Thank you so much, Ms. Fatima. May I just Zaikul Haq, Mr. Zakiul Haq. Okay, so
Shashi, you can announce 2 names in sequence so that the next person will be ready.
Yeah, sure. So we have Zakiul Haq, and may I also request Khalida Parvin to unmute yourself.
Thank you, Shashi. And I'm Khalida Parvin, working as Additional Deputy Director, Plant Quarantine Wing, Department of Agriculture Extension. Thank you giving me opportunity to be a participant. I think this PRA training will be helpful to me as a field worker. I hope this is an important training for our related works. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. I now request Luftar Rahman Sigdar and Manik Sarkar. Do we have Lupta Rahman? Manik Sarkar?
Good evening. My name is Mohammad Manik Shurkar. Basically, I am an agriculturist, more specifically plant breeder. Currently, I am working as an assistant in planning, project implementation, and ICT wing of Department of Agriculture Extension, Khamarbari, Dhaka. I think this training program will helpful for me, and I am able to learn many things from this program. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sarkar. Now I request Mohammad Samsul Alam, Additional Director, to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Soshi. I thought that you forget me.
No, we will never forget you.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening from Bangladesh. I am Mohammad Samsul Alam, Additional Director, Plant Quarantine Wing, Department of Agriculture and Extension. I've been working in the Plant Quarantine Wing for the last 2.5 years as Deputy Director Export and now as Additional Director. I am very much related with the training module. For exportation or importation of any agricultural products, it is very essential to know the PRA and related other things. But I did not get any training on PRA, though I have some idea on PRA due to my doing the job. So this training will help me to know the ins and outs of PRA in detail, by which I can contribute better later on. I have my some colleagues, some colleagues already they have transferred and some are retired, but my some colleagues joined here very soon. They are very new here. I think this training will help them to do their job and also as facilitator. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mohammad Samsul Alam. We were just going through alphabetical order and we were waiting for your turn, to be honest. Thank you again. So I now request Professor Abdul Latif. He will be followed by Sangeeta Bhattacharjee. Professor, please go ahead.
Thank you, Soshi, for giving me the chance for introducing me to the audience. Thank you. I am Professor Dr. Mohammad Abdul Latif, Department of Entomology, Sher-e-Bangla Agricultural University. I am serving in this university for about 27 years. I teach about pest identification, development, pest management process, application of management approach, and I also work with DAE for conducting pesticide analysis from 2010 to 2018. I also work with farmers for pest identification, pest management, and increase their knowledge about pest identification. I'm very much delighted to join this training program, and I hope that this training program will enrich my knowledge so that it will be helpful for me for future pest risk analysis. Thank you very much for it.
Thank you so much, Professor. I now request Sangeeta to introduce yourself. Followed by Sangeeta, we have Sanya. Sangeeta, over to you.
Yes, this is Shomita Bhattacharjee. I'm working as a quarantine entomologist in export section in Plant Quarantine Wing, DAE, last 3 years. I hope this training will help us to develop our knowledge on conducting PRA, and it will help to build institutional capacity with a team of PRA specialists. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sangeeta. I now request Sanya.
Thank you, Sasi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
I'm Sania Afrin, Upajala Agriculture Officer. I work in Department of Extension, Dhaka, Bangladesh. It's a great opportunity for me. I think I can learn about pest-related so many things from this PRA training because it's new for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sanya. I now request Shahidul Haq. Mr. Shahidul Haq, are you there? And please unmute yourself.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Shahidul Haq Beef, Deputy Plan Breeder and Subim City Company Limited. Basically, PRA is new things to me. So this training program will be very helpful for us. So I hope I can learn a lot of things for this training program. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. We now come to the last participant, saving the best for the last. Dr. Subrata Kumar Das, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Sosi. Plus, I took the opportunity. Thank you. My gratitude to all of you on behalf of my director, Plant Protection Wing. I am Subrata Kumar Das, doing my job under Plant Protection Wing as Additional Deputy Director, Pesticide Quality Control. First of all, I would like to thank all the organizing personnel, especially to Dr. Ravi Khetrapal sir. My gratitude, and I wish these topics of pesticide analysis is very much important for plant quarantine and plant protection activities, and I hope this training will be fruitful and will be most effective to us. Thank you all, and wish everybody success on upcoming days. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Subrato is also nodal officer from the plant protection. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so if somebody is left, Sadia, if you are there, you can introduce yourself also. Sadia Nazmi, our authority.
Sadia Nazmi, please unmute yourself and you can introduce yourself.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Hello. Good evening. This is Muhammad Mujahidul Islam Selim. I'm working in a Laltir Seed Limited as a quality manager of NMT seed testing lab. My laboratory is the ICTA member lab. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Doctor. Sorry we missed you in the list. So if any other participants, we missed you, kindly unmute and introduce yourself.
Good evening.
Yeah, Dr. Mamun, please go ahead.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Mamun, Deputy Plant Pathologist, Supreme Seed Company Limited. I believe this training will help us a lot, especially for export-import. Thanks to all.
Thank you so much. So I think we've covered all the participants. Sadia, are you back? If not, I would like to request Dr. Ravi Khetrapal to provide a few closing remarks and then we'll hand over to Rita Day.
I think Sadia's laptop is problematic. That is why she's not attending it. I think so, because I noted that she told she has that the sound off is or is the hearing is off.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So I think we have some internet issue with Sadia. So we are now back to Dr. Ravi. Dr. Ravi, over to you.
Thank you, Sasi. Well, I'll be very brief. It is 11:30 at night for me at Melbourne here. Maybe late evening for all of you also. First of all, I would like to thank the Director General BAE for his wholehearted support. He really made a big success of the meeting by his presence, by his speech. And we are very happy to see that he He is genuinely very keen to push it. And all the staff of DAE, be it of plant protection wing or plant quarantine wing or field wings or whichever who have come, and the participants who have come from private seed company, from research institution, from universities. I am really grateful to all of them for their very active participation. Our special thanks to USDA, USAID, which came up in a big number, all the senior officials from Bangladesh and from USA. I think without the support of USDA, FAST, and USAID, this program would have never happened. I really salute them for their genuine interest in Bangladesh and in such a program. Now, having said that, I may like to say, with the brief which was given by my colleague, Dr. Varaprasad, and our training specialist, Lloyd and Mike, and also Sasi Rekha, now things should be quite clear in the mind of all of you, all the participants, how we are going to have a real business for 1 week. It will be a kind of a clear brainstorming for you, because the PRA, while doing PRA, you will see you will be connecting the dots of different kind of knowledge you have. You know, it's an interesting game actually, if you take it in a positive way. If you have a basic knowledge, which you all have about plant protection, I think PRA becomes very interesting. And I'm sure with such an active participation, such a good support from USDA and USAID, both from Bangladesh and USA, Washington, this program will become a big success. I thank you all, and I would like to say that after this training, you will feel different. We have a dozen more such trainings beyond PRA, and I'm sure you will come running to join more trainings. Thank you. Thank you, Sasi. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ravi, for always staying up late and being present for all the trainings and meetings, especially in all the events that we conduct for Bangladesh. We are really happy to have you throughout the session. So with this, now I hand over the session to...
Sadia is back, I think so.
Yeah, so Sadia, are you there? Can you please try to unmute and introduce yourself? Sadia? Sadia, please go ahead. You are on unmute. You can please go ahead and talk. Okay. So yeah, while we wait, I think I will also like to highlight again, participants, please have your Zoom updated to version 5.3 or above. And please have the printout of the case study that was mailed to you. That will be helpful for you to go through the activities tomorrow. So we'll meet again tomorrow. In the first 30 minutes, we'll be letting you know how to use Zoom breakout rooms and what groups you belong to and who your moderators are. So with this very final notes for tomorrow's session, I would like to invite Rita Day to provide the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Sasi. Good evening from Bangladesh. Honorable Director General of Department of Agriculture Extension, respected speakers, valuable participants, and dear audience. It's my privilege to offer thanks on this introductory session. First of all, I express my heartfelt thanks to our Honorable Director General for taking his precious time and delivering his inspiring words. I would like to convey my thanks to Mark Rosman, Agricultural Attaché, USDA, for your valuable speech, and I also welcome you to Bangladesh and wish your positive support will expedite our agricultural trade. I convey my gratitude to Mr. Mohammad Anwar Hussain, Director Plant Quarantine Wing, for attending this session and delivered his need-based speech. I would like to give special thanks to Dr. Ravi, Executive Secretary APARI, who presents the importance of PRA training in Bangladesh and highlighted the key points of PRA and PC recommendations. I would like to express my thanks to Dr. Hassanullah for your experience-based and informative presentation. And also like to convey my thanks Dr. Bhara Prasad for arranging this training. I convey my hearty thanks to Ms. Rebecca Robinson, FTF team leader, and Jesse Fernandez, program director USDA, for stay with us. I mention my deepest sense of appreciation to all the valuable participants of Department of Agriculture Extension and other stakeholders, because your active participation made this session successful. Last of all, I would like to give thanks to everyone for their participation and mobility to take on this accomplishment of this introductory session. Thank you everyone again. Have a great time. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Rita. Dr. Varaprasad, would you like to close the session for today?
Thank you very much. It's a great engagement by all the participants. Happy that all the key organizers participated. Have a good night, and we are sorry that we are late by about 13 minutes. Thank you very much. Bye. Good night. Thank you, Dr. Ravi, for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. I
There was no group photo, Sasi. There's
Yeah,
no group photo.
I was about to tell the Dr. Ravi, you quickly turn on your cameras for a few seconds and I will just get a group picture. Participants, I request you all to turn on your video.
Please turn on your video, all the participants, for a group photo, and follow Sashi's instructions.
Yeah, thank you so much for waiting so long, and we'll just take a few seconds to get a picture. I will just wait a few more seconds to few participants to turn on the video. Yeah, okay, so 3, 2, 1, cheese. I still see most of you are still energetic and with full of energy even at this late time. Thank you so much again, and have a great dinner, and good night all. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you.
From
Good night
Apari
to all.
team. And thank you. Bye.
Thank
Lloyd
you.
and
Thank
Mike.
you, Sasi,
Have a good day.
Varaprasad, everyone. Thank you, Lloyd, Mike, all of you.
Oh, Sadia, I could see you now. Anyway, tomorrow you can be introduced.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.